everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm gonna tell you a story about some neighbors that live next to us. We used to hang out at their house, when we were little girls, and she would tell us ghost stories and stuff like that. So I'm gonna tell you the story that she told me when we were little. So this is a true story. So anyway, let's get into it. So apparently their grandmother, when she was young, she lived in Mexico, and she was married. She was in her 20s, and eventually, they came to United States. But anyway, she said that they had moved into this little house, and it was kind of like a busy street. And in the community, there was a curandera, and curanderas are like people that can heal you, can do like spells, and some people consider them witches. And they're greatly respected, but they are also feared. So anyway, when they moved into the neighborhood, the curandera had a son. And the son would stalk their grandmother when she would go out. When she would be in her house, she'd see him standing in the corner, and it was just weird to her, so she would always have her guard up. So one day she was in her garden, and she was watering her plants, taking care of the flowers, stuff like that, and she heard the gate open, and her back was towards the gate, so she got up and turned around, and the son was standing there. And he told her that he had fallen in love with her and that he wanted her to leave her husband for him. And she told him no. She got angry and she slapped him in the face and told him to immediately get out of her yard or she was going to call the police. So he left in a huff. He was very angry, and she didn't think nothing of it. She was hoping that the stalking would stop. So for a couple of days she didn't see him. And she was happy. She thought that it was over. So like on the third or fourth day, the curandera knocked on her door. And she was surprised. So she went to the door and opened it. And the curandera told her, "If you do not leave your husband for my son, we are going to put a curse on you." And she told the lady to get off her property, not to bother her anymore. She was going to call the police. So the curandera again warned her, and she left. And nothing happened for like a couple of days. And suddenly she started seeing like shadow people in her home. She would hear voices, but could never tell what they were saying. She would go to sleep at night, and she would be waken up by noises in her home. She would see like shadows outside her window, and it kept on and on and on until she couldn't take it anymore. So her husband told her that they were going to move. So she said okay, and they moved, and it continued. She was being like harassed by shadow people. She would hear noises. Things would be misplaced, and she thought she was losing her mind. So she went to a priest, and she explained everything to the priest, and the priest told her to get some statues of the Virgin Mary and bring them to him, and he would bless him, and he wanted her to put them throughout her home. So she bought 5 Virgin Mary statues. She took them to the church. The priest blessed him. He also gave her some holy water, and he told her to go home and place them throughout her home, especially in the 4 corners of her house. And she did that, and she put one by her nightstand near her bed with the holy water. So when she did that, little by little, the shadow people started leaving, but every once in a while she would catch shadow people amongst her windows or inside her home, and it would be like a real fast glimpse, and she would turn around and be gone. So this kept happening on and off for about 2 to 3 years, And eventually the curandera died. So when that happened, things seemed to escalate. So she went back to the priest, and the priest told her, well, I'm going to come to your house and bless your house and see how things go from there. So she said, okay. So he came, he blessed the house, and things quieted down for a couple of years, and then she started seeing the curandera. She would see her across the street. She would see her in her home. She would see her everywhere. And when she would go shopping, she'd see her amongst the crowd. And she was very, very unnerved and very scared. So she told her husband that she couldn't live like this anymore. So her husband told her that he had a surprise for her and that they were going to be moving within the year to the United States. So she was really happy about that, and they started making plans, and the year passed by, and they eventually migrated into the United States. So they bought a home, and they opened a little store, and everything was going good for about 3 years. And then she started seeing the curandera in her home. And it started one night, her and her husband and their children were in the living room. They were watching a movie, and she got up to make some popcorn, and she saw the curandera looking through the kitchen window, and she screamed. And by the time her husband and kids came, she had disappeared. So she went to the local church next day, and she told the priest, and he told her the same thing the priest had told her in Mexico, to get some statues of the Virgin Mary and to bring them to the church and bless them. So she did that, and she put the statues throughout her home, and everything went okay. She, everything quieted down. So one day she was making breakfast for her kids, and one of her sons, they had 3 children. They had 2 sons and a daughter. One of the sons, the middle son, he was yawning and he looked really tired, and she told him, "What's wrong, mijo? Didn't you sleep well last night?" He goes, "No, I keep seeing a woman in my room. And when I turn the lights on, she's not there. But when I turn the lights off, she's there." So she got really, really scared. So she bought a statue of the Virgin Mary, and she took it to the church to have it blessed and put it in her son's room. And she also did that for her 2 other kids. So once she did that, the lady never came back. So they lived out their years, and her kids grew up, and her sons and her daughter had children, and her daughter had just bought a home, and they were all celebrating and stuff, and everyone went home, and her daughter, she had bought a 2-story home, so they had a staircase, and she said that she had cleaned up after everyone left, and when she was going up the staircase, she saw a lady at the top of the stairs, all in black, with a lace veil over her face. And when she approached the lady disappeared. So she thought maybe it was because she was tired, but it kept happening. And one day her mom came and visited her, and she told her mother the story. And her mom told her what had happened to her when she was a young girl. And she told her, get some statues of the Virgin Mary, have them blessed, and put them throughout your home. So the daughter did. She did what her mom told her, and her daughter was very scared, and she was afraid for her children. So one day, her daughter came down. She had 2 kids, her daughter, and her daughter came down to eat breakfast to go to school. And her daughter said that she had seen a short old lady in the hallway, and that she would come down the hallway and stand at her door. And the little girl was really scared, so the daughter went and bought some medals, and she got holy water, and she put a statue of the Virgin Mary in her daughter's room by her bed. So after that, nothing happened anymore, and Every now and again, they have the priest come and bless their home. But sometimes one of the family members, she said, would always see that lady. She's still haunting them to this day, and it's pretty scary to me to know that someone can be so mad at you that they would try to make your life just very hectic, and it's unnecessary. So that's a true story I wanted to tell you just in time for Halloween. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like this video because it helps out my channel, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye. Happy Halloween.